Hi and welcome. In this video, we will be analyzing the distribution of a variable. The distribution of a variable is one of the most fundamental concepts in the whole of data analysis, with countless number of applications. So far, we have used frequency distribution table and different graphical methods to present the distribution of the data collected on the variable of interest. But that is not the end of our work. In order to really deeply understand the distribution of the variable, we have to further study and analyze the distribution. To fully understand all characteristics of the distribution of the data collected on the variable of interest, we have a number of statistical methods available. In particular, we have 4 categories of statistical analysis methods helping us to deeply understand the distribution of the data collected on the variable of interest. First, a set of methods in order to find the location of high density. High density means the interval or the locations where we have more people or more observations. For example, here if we consider the density plot of the student's GPA, we see that the high density is somewhere around 3 to 3.5. Or if you consider the distribution of the student's weight, the highest density is somewhere between 88 and 92. Likewise, if you consider the density of income, the highest density is somewhere between 8 and 9. In statistics, the location of high density is referred to as the center of the distribution. From the graph, we can estimate the location of the center, but in order to find the exact location, we need to do some calculations. The numerical summaries used to locate the center of the distribution are called measures of center. The most commonly used measures of center are mean, median, and mode. Using these 3 measures of center, we can find the exact location of the center, for instance, in this distribution. Apart from the center, sometimes we need to find other locations as well. For instance, what is the value or what is the number which is larger than 75% of all other observations. For instance, consider the distribution of the student's GPA. If we want to find the value of GPA, which is larger than 80% of observations, that is actually this location here, which is larger than 80% of our observation on GPA. Obviously, this is smaller than 20% of our observations on GPA. We use quantiles and percentiles to find different locations as we want along the distribution of the variable of interest. Another key characteristic of the distribution of the spread of the data or observations around the center. If you look to these 2 distributions, you see that the red one is more concentrated around the center, while the blue one is more spread around the center. That is, the distance of observations in the red distribution is relatively closer to the center compared to the observations on the blue distribution. Using this line, you can see that the range of variation in the blue line is much wider than the range of variation of observations in the red density. We have a number of numerical techniques available to check the variation of data or the spread of the data collected on a variable of interest. This includes range, variance, mean absolute deviation, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. Another set of methods is used to study the shape of the distribution. For example, if you consider the shape of these 2 distributions, they are different from the shape of this distribution. We will be going through different types of distributions with respect to their shape and study them one by one in the next lectures. Thanks for watching and good learning.